Good morning, all of you. I hope you all have seen part 1 and part 2 of chapter 5, The Happy Prince. Now, let us begin with the part 3. My eyes are all that I have left. They are made of rare sapphire, which were brought out of India 1,000 years ago. See, the happy prince, he said that now he had his eyes, which were made of a very precious and red sapphire stone, and which had been brought thousands of years ago from India. He ordered the swallow to pluck out one of them and take it to the playwright. So, you see, this happy prince told swallow to take out one of the sapphire and give it to that boy. He will sell it to the jewelers and buy firewood and finish his play. He said, "Dear prince," said the swallow, "I cannot do that." And he began to weep. See, what did the bird? The bird was very sad when to learn that the happy prince wanted to give his eyes to that boy, and he started crying. He told happy prince that he could not do so. "Swallow, swallow, little swallow," said the prince, "do as I command you." So the swallow plucked out the prince's eyes and flew away to the young man's garrets. And it was easy enough to get in, as there was a hole in the roof. Through this he darted, means he pushed himself inside. He darted and came into the room, and the young man had his head buried in his hand. So he did not hear the flutter of the bird's wings. And when he looked up, he found the beautiful sapphire lying on the withered violets. See what happened now. But when the happy prince, now when he ordered the bird to do so, what he had told him to do, so finally the swallow took out one eye and one sapphire out of the prince's eye, and he flew to the young man's garret, and there was a hole on the roof of the room. And so what happened, so the bird entered the room through that hole, and the boy was sitting with his head on his hand, and that's why he could not hear the flutter of the bird's wing. And when he looked up, he saw the sapphire stone that was lying on the dried flowers. "I am beginning to be appreciated," he cried. "This is from some great admirer. Now I can finish my play." And he looked quite happy. See, appreciated mean to praise someone. See, when the boy saw this beautiful stone, he felt that some admirer, some person who praised him had sent a gift for him. So he thought that with this he could now finish his play. The next day, the swallow flew down to the harbor, seaport. He sat on the mast of a large vessel and watched the sailor working. "I am going to Egypt," cried the swallow, but nobody minded. And when the moon rose, he flew back to the happy prince. See, next morning what happened? The swallow bird was he flew down to the harbor, and he sat on a mast of a ship, and he spoke loudly that he was going to Egypt. And when it was night, he flew back to happy prince. "Swallow, once again I have come to bid you goodbye," he cried. See, the bird once again told the happy prince that it had come to say goodbye. He was going to Egypt. "Swallow, swallow, little swallow," said the prince, "will you not stay with me one night longer?" See, now once again the happy prince requested the bird to stay with him for one more night. "It is winter," answered the swallow, "and the snow will soon be here. In Egypt the sun is warm on the green palm trees, and the crocodiles lie in the mud and look lazily about them. See what the swallow said, that the happy prince, that the winter season has started, and after some time it would start snowing. And what happened, the weather in Egypt was warm, and even the crocodile, they lay egg on the mud lazily over there. So he told him to let him go to Egypt. In the square below, said the happy prince, there stands a little match girl. She has let her matches fall in the gutter, and they are all spoiled. Her father will beat her if she does not bring home some money, and she is crying. And she has no shoes or stockings, and her little head is bare. Pluck out my other eye and give it to her, and her father will not beat her. See what happened now, that this was the third work he wanted to, means he wanted the bird to do. See, the happy prince told that there was a match girl, and she was little girl, and all her matchsticks has fallen in the gutter and got wet, and all her matchstick was spoiled, so she could not sell them, and she could not earn the money from it. And when she was about to go home without money, then her father would get angry and he would beat her. For this reason the girl was crying. And further, the happy prince said that she was not wearing shoes or stockings also, and she had not covered her head, so she was very poor. And so he said to Swallow to take out another sapphire from his eye and give it to her, so that her father did not beat her. I will stay with you one night longer, said the swallow, but I cannot pluck out your eyes. You would be quite blind then. See what happened, the swallow, he agreed. Okay, I'll stay with you one more night. But what he said, but he refused to take another sapphire. Why? Because if he would do that thing, then the happy prince would be blind. Swallow, swallow, little swallow, do as I command you. See what he said, the prince says him, that again he told, please do what he has ordered him. So he plucked out the prince's other eye and he darted down with it. He swooped means he fly very low, past the match girl and slipped the jewel into the palm of her hand. What a lovely bit of glass, cried the little girl, and she ran home laughingly. So finally, what happened? The bird, he obeyed the happy prince's order, and he took another sapphire stone from his hand and he flew to the little match girl. And when he saw the match girl, he bent very low and he kept that sapphire stone on the little girl's hand. And see, this girl now, she was very happy to see the stone, and then she went happily to home. Then the swallow came back to the prince. You are blind now, he said, so I will stay with you always. See what happened then. When the swallow returned back to the happy prince, he told him that now he was blind and so he would stay with him forever. No, little swallow, said the poor prince, you must go away to Egypt. See, but what happy prince said, no, no, you go back to Egypt. You wanted to go over there, so you should go to Egypt. Now, further we will see in the next part.